Hello, welcome to the morning news. Our top story continues to be in South Carolina. In the next few hours, Dylan Roof will appear at the bail hearing. He is the white 21-year-old man that committed the hate crime at the historic African Methodist Episcopal Church in Charleston.
The man killed 6 women and 3 men. Roof was praying in the church when he pulled out the gun that was given to him for his birthday. And in the meantime, Hillary Clinton has taken advantage of the situation to appeal to the black community as she continues her presidential campaign. She's proven to be as opportunist as Noam Chomsky recently said she was.
How many innocent people in our country, from little children to church members to movie theater attendees, how many people do we need to see cut down before we act?
People across the U.S. celebrated vigils at churches to mourn the death of the 9 black people at the hands of a person believed to be a supremacist and a fan of anti-apartheid. The hate crime caps a year of turmoil and protests over race relations, law enforcement, and criminal justice in the U.S. The national unrest was caused by a series of police killings of unarmed black men.
Now to Ecuador, the country has been in news headlines around the world. Right-wing protesters have continued their plans to destabilize the country. This exposes their true objective. They want to oust progressive President Rafael Correa, but has shown compromise and flexibility. He kicked off a national debate, a tax bill, which was supposedly the root of the protests that at times turned violent. He said inequality in Ecuador is intolerable and needs to urgently be addressed. But the opposition rejects that. They want to continue being extremely privileged with no regard to the poorer classes.
The opposition attempt to scare the whole world. They said the tax laws affected the poor and the middle class. I've told them that if you prove that it does indeed affect the poor and the middle class, I will remove the bills definitely. But they will not be able to prove it because they are lying.
After a Swedish prosecutor canceled an interview with Julian Assange Wednesday, Ecuadorian Foreign Minister Ricardo Patiño has accused Sweden of violating the WikiLeaks founder's human rights, but delaying for over 3 years its decision on whether to approve the country's proposal to allow him to testify from its embassy in London. The Dominican border with Haiti was crowded with hundreds of thousands of Haitians, migrants, and Dominicans of Haitian descent who face the risks of deportation. The Dominican government has launched a regularization program under a new immigration law, and Wednesday was the deadline for registering. Officials say more than 210,000 people have already done so. Those deemed eligible could earn a 2-year temporary migrant status. The Dominican Army has 2,000 troops ready to help coordinate the removal of people who fail to meet the legal requirements to remain in the country. Moving to Honduras, Enrique Flores Alenza was a minister under the former government of Manuel Zelaya and in charge of a referendum which was stopped by a coup in 2009. 6 years later, there is an arrest warrant out for him as he has left the country. Gerardo Torres has the report.
The Honduran tribunals decided to send to prison former member of Manuel Zelaya's government, Enrique Flores, who was part of the coordination team of a popular query known as Cuarta Urna, aimed to create a constitutive assembly. Opposition Libre Party showed its concern and support and informed that Flores has left the country.
Enrique Flores Lanza, former minister of the president and coordinator of the referendum, during the past years, almost 6 years, on June 28th, has been subjected to investigations, and even though we know they're against us, we have shown our will. Now they refuse to accept the investigations and are persecuting our political party. I have no doubt that in due time he will present himself as he always has.
The accusation against the cabinet ousted in June 2009 by the military force comes as a response to the political pressure demanding the investigation of several corruption cases involving current President Juan Orlando Hernandez and the ruling National Party. The accusation against Zelaya's cabinet claims that the popular query was illegal.
We call that on June 28th, a date in which we will commemorate the 6th anniversary of the coup d'etat, for all the ministers and coordinators to publicly and transparently inform the people of what happened on June 28th, 2009 in the different departments.
A todos los exministros y coordinadores de la cuarta urna.
Opposition Libre Party has been reporting political prosecution. They claim that Flores Lanza's case has forced him to exile, and that this could be the beginning of actions similar of those of 2009 against the political adversaries of the regime. They demand international support because they don't believe in the country's justice system. Gerardo Torres, Telesur, Central America.
We continue Honduras. The government of President Juan Orlando Hernandez has been hit by protests due to a massive corruption scandal that has rocked the Social Security Institute. In a movie aimed at recovering the confidence of the people, he has ordered the soldiers to take control of the 8 public hospitals across the country. Residents responded positively to the measure. They believe that this will guarantee transparency and the availability of medicines. All eyes are on Greece and the meetings with the creditors. Time is running out for a deal. More on this on our World News Roundup.
Tsipras has defied the EU and the IMF. He has vowed to fulfill his campaign promises to the people of his country who have been burdened with the effects of a debt that have been deemed illegal and odious. But Tsipras said a deal will be reached. He also said it will be a deal that will allow the country to return to economic growth. He did not offer more details. Eurozone finance ministers warned that without reforms, there will not be a deal. European leaders and Greece's central bank have warned a possible Grexit was on the horizon. European shares fell and Greek shares hit a new 3-year low after the latest meeting ended without an agreement. The negotiations are now in the hands of heads of state. German Chancellor Angela Merkel has said she will negotiate until the last minute. She expressed hope that a deal will be reached.
Well, I think it now moves to the level of the heads of state and government, and we shall see the outcome. The window of opportunity is, of course, narrowing down.
The head of the IMF, Christine Lagarde, warned that Greece will be in default with the International Monetary Fund at the start of July if it fails to make a repayment on June 30th. She also warned a grace period would not be granted. Lagarde insisted that a reform on the Greek pension system was critical for a deal to be reached. Tsipras and his government have been clear in saying they would not touch the pension system nor increase taxes.
So, on that particular issue, timeline, 30th of June is the day when the lump sum payment is due to the IMF, and there is no grace period or 2 months delay as I have seen here and there. On July the 1st, payments not been made.
The Yemen peace talks have also hit a deadlock. They are ongoing in Geneva and have entered their 4th day. The parties involved have failed to reach an agreement on the number of delegations to participate in the dialogue, but the UN has said that the next few hours will be able to report some progress. In the meantime, Saudi Arabia continues to bomb Yemen. Since March 26th, more than 1,400 people have been killed, including many civilians, many women and children.
Now let's take a look at the latest results of Copa America and more news on the FIFA bribery case.
Despite Venezuela's defeat against Peru in the Copa America, it still has a chance to move on the quarterfinals. In fact, all 4 contenders in Group C are now at level at 3 points. Bayern Munich striker Claudio Pizarro scored Peru's winning goal, being the final score 1-0. This victory makes it up for Peru for the defeat against Brazil. The next game to be played in the 44th edition of the tournament in Chile will be the hosting team versus Bolivia. Chile is already firmly in contention for the quarterfinals. They have played well and are hoping to clinch their first title ever. Mexico and Ecuador will also face off in the next hours. For both these teams, a victory is crucial to continue in the Copa. More on the FIFA bribery investigation. Argentine businessmen Hugo and Mariano Jinquis turned themselves in to authorities in Buenos Aires. They were among 14 current and former FIFA officials and corporate executives indicted. They are accused, together with Alejandro Bursaco, to conspire to win and keep lucrative media rights contracts from regional soccer by paying tens of millions of dollars in bribes. Bursaco surrendered in northern Italy last week.
More on these on our website, telesurtv.net/English. Thanks for watching and have a nice weekend.